In today's fast-paced society where there seems to be more work than play, the weekends are what everyone looks forward to at the end of each day. For college students, stay-at-home parents, workers, and for many others, there isn't a weekend without some alcohol. While drinking in and of itself isn't altogether wrong legally for many people, it's the decisions made after they're inebriated that presents the dangers, specifically operating motorized vehicles while within the legal limits of intoxication, which is 0.08% blood alcohol concentration, or BAC. My topic will discuss the reasons repeat offenders should lose their licenses after being convicted, my credibility. While I was in the Navy, I was around a lot of men and women who drank more than they should on particular nights. And I personally had a friend convicted of DUI, and so I was there for the process of that, as well as the research I've conducted for this topic. I will preview three main points within the body of my speech. First, I will discuss an overview of DUIs in America. Second, I'll discuss some potential causes of the increased DUI in America. And for my third point, I will discuss the potential punishment that repeat offenders should receive. For my first point, I will discuss some details of DUI and how it's a problem within America. Alcohol can cause a decreased reaction time, critical thinking, and reasoning that you need to operate a vehicle. The dangers of driving while intoxicated cannot be expressed. According to Nicholas Van Dyke and Mark T. Fillmore in a 2014 article, Alcohol Effects on Stimulated Driving Performance and Self-Perceptions of Impairment in DUI Offenders, they stated, quote, research has shown approximately 1 in every 127 licensed drivers is arrested for DUI, and over 1/3 of those will reoffend within the next 3 years, period, after that. Megan F. Dixon also states in her 2013 article, a comparison of first-time and repeat rural DUI offenders, wrote, quote, alcohol-impaired driving accidents alone account for 32% of all traffic-related deaths in the United States in 2008, end quote. Monsant-Journet-Gibert and authors in a 2012 article, Attitudes Do Matter, The Roles of Attitudes and Personality in DUI Offenders, report the findings of a study as, quote, positive expectancies about alcohol, frequent drinking, and low levels of social desirability were the strongest predictors of a DUI. So in a sense, how positively you viewed alcohol, how frequently you drove to attend parties or drink, and how little you cared about what others thought about you and their opinions led to strong predictors of DUIs. Now that you're familiar with some of the problems of DUIs, I will move on to my second point, which examines the cause of the problem, which is the decision to drive after consuming alcohol, after already having one DUI conviction. If you cannot appropriately plan ahead before a night out drinking, you should plan to stay where you are until you have sobered up. It's a conscious decision to put yourself into a position of alcohol consumption and driving. The best thing that can be done is to having a driver, a designated driver, or a cab drive you home, drink at home, or just stay long enough to sober up, which could be a few hours depending on how much you drank. Megan F. Dixon and some authors in a 2013 article, a comparison of first-time and repeat rural DUI offenders share, quote, analysis of crash data revealed that drivers with a BAC of 0.01 or higher who were involved in fatal car crash were at least 4 times more likely to have a prior DUI conviction than drivers with no alcohol in their system. And those with a BAC of 0.08%, which is the legal maxed limit, they were 8 times more likely to have a prior DUI conviction. And according to an article, Effectiveness of Intervention for Convicted DUI Offenders and Reducing Recidivism, written in 2014 by Dr. Peter Miller and some other authors, they quote, repeat offenders are more deviant and have higher levels of substance abuse, psychiatric distress, unemployment, and are more likely to persist in DUI behaviors than first-time offenders. Recidivism, it means to relapse into a behavior or a mode. Recidivists are individuals who are deemed likely to be repeat offenders. Alan Caviola and others in a 2007 article, Characteristics of DUI Recidivists. It's a 12-year follow-up study of first-time DUI offenders. Quote, one of the oft-cited difficulties in screening DUI offenders is their unwillingness to truthfully answer direct questions about their alcohol and drug use because of their understanding that these answers can lead to court-mandated treatment. So people's tendency to change details when speaking with figures like in positions of authority make it hard to properly gauge the amount of dependency that that person actually has on alcohol, and this increases the chance of relapse and even more DUI convictions on that person. Now that you're familiar with recidivism as the cause, let's move on. My third point identifies a solution to preventing repeat offenders from causing themselves and others potential fatal harm. If an individual makes the judgment to drive while intoxicated despite already having been convicted of a DUI, that individual should have their license suspended for a legally set period of abstinence from alcohol or drugs, or have it revoked if they have even more subsequent convictions after that. DUI puts everyone on the road in danger. Preventing alcohol-related accidents is paramount. In a 2013 research article, Moving Beyond BAC in DUIs, by Karen L. Dugosh, David S. Festinger, and Douglas Marlowe, having prior arrest for summary alcohol or drug-related offenses, misdemeanor offenses, misdemeanor arrests for crimes against people, or prior moving violations were also common repeat offenders than were just first-time offenders of DUI. First-time offenders will have the opportunity to retain their licenses through whatever legally dictated means of community service or prison. However, repeat offenders are more negligent and prone to abuse the law, having the price to be as steep as not having a valid license for identification and transportation that's needed today. Individuals may be more prone to proper planning and decision-making beforehand. Now that I've covered my solution to DUIs, in closing, I've explained the dangers of DUI and the solution to resolving it. I intended to prove that repeat offenders of DUI should have their licenses removed in a way. First, I discussed a brief overview of DUIs within America. Second, I discussed potential problems leading to the cause of DUIs and repeat offenders. And for my third and final point, I discussed the solution to the problem of repeat offenders. It's perfectly fine for you to unwind how you believe is necessary. However, it's important to understand the effects that drinks can have on you as you consume them. If you must consume alcohol, never do it under a circumstance that requires you to operate a vehicle. Your life and the life of innocents are at even more risk when someone driving under the influence operates a vehicle. You can call family, friends, a cab, stay at the place you're intending to drink until you sober up, or just drink at home where you don't need to drive. Because repeat offenders should face the harsher punishments of losing their license after having the opportunity to retain it on their first conviction. Thank you.